Hey guys, Buckskin Snuggy here with a couple of quick tips in regards to the auction house. Now, one thing to quickly note here is actually buying and selling on the auction house is a lot harder than it should be right now. The search browse thing is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of glitched and bugged right now. Like, say, hypothetically, if you're looking for some legendary refinements, and you click down, you look for legendary, basically you're going to see everything listed right now. It won't be strictly legendary whatsoever, and that goes the same with any type of equipment, mounts, any type of gear, whatever. It's kind of something that we're all really hoping that gets worked on sometime soon. But yeah, the first thing I could basically say though is for anybody who is buying or selling on the auction house, try to really look up your items before you are going to sell them, because one thing you have to keep in mind is the prices are always going to fluctuate kind of based on supply and demand. You know what I mean? And so say if I wanted to sell some Residium here, you look at the starting bid here. You'll notice that the suggested bid and the suggested buyout price can somewhat be a little bit ridiculous. It's not necessarily the best price range for you. Neverwinter just kind of has this way of just slapping one in there as somewhat of a suggestion, but a lot of times I wouldn't really go for it. Like, so you can see for 3 Residium, 849 is the starting bid and a buyout price of 938. But if we quickly take a look here in the browse section, okay, so we're going to pump in Residium, and we will see what people are actually selling it for right now. Whoops. And as you can see, some people are selling it for completely ridiculous prices. Okay, so judging by the fact that this is 2 days, 22 hours, and 55 minutes, what that tells me is he has had his up for about an hour now at a starting bid of 350 for 4 Residium. He has no buyout price whatsoever, and as you can see, not one single person has bid on it. Yeah, one thing too with the auction house right now is a lot of people are having difficulty buying and selling stuff because the price range is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of the PC guys are laughing at us right now, basically saying people are trying to sell stuff for ridiculous amounts. And as you can see, look at 2 Residium here for a starting bid of 1,000. Honestly, this guy is guaranteed not to sell this. I find it hard to believe that anybody would actually come in here and pay that kind of price. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, you could get, some kind of far out there prices, and you will get new players who don't really know too much about the game who might actually come in and buy your stuff, so it is kind of a hit or miss kind of thing. But, you know, doing stuff on this auction house is going to take a little bit of practice whatsoever. But the main thing is I could say is, if you are ever going to buy or sell something, try to look up what prices you're competing with, and a lot of people, well, especially when it comes to gear, you know what I mean? Like for me, I sell a lot of profession items because right now I'm just doing leadership, and a lot of the profession items I don't really need. So it's a good way for me to kind of earn some astral diamonds on the side. I haven't really had much success trying to sell blue or green gear. Honestly, it rarely sells, and I notice a lot of people will be selling green or blue gear and they will not be putting a buyout price on it. And a lot of times what's going to happen is that these people who are bidding on these items, what's going to happen is they're basically going to level past what they're actually bidding on, and honestly that equipment won't be any use to them. So when you are selling any type of stuff, try to put a buyout price on it, try to put a fair price as well, because like I said, people don't really want to wait a day to 5 days before they can actually get their equipment. You know what I mean? Like if we take a quick look here, this guy's got a decent set of blue armor for, I'm not really too sure. I'm guessing that's for a trickster rogue, okay? For almost 14,000 astral diamonds, okay? As you can see, he's had his stuff up probably for about almost over 18 hours now, and yeah, like I said, this guy is guaranteed not to sell this stuff. It is just, yeah, it's ridiculous, you know what I mean? Okay, so something like this even, this guy's trying to sell Control Wizard robes. If we take a quick look here for level 18, 30 Astral Diamonds, that, in my opinion, that's somewhat fair. You know what I mean? If I was level 18 and I needed some good armor for my Control Wizard, yeah, I would shell out 30, for that. But as you can see, though, he's got it for 4.5, basically almost 5 days, okay? So if I did bid on this right now, and let me tell you, if I played my Control Wizard for 5 days, I'm pretty sure I would probably be up around the level 25 area. It's not really too hard to power level in this game as long as you're consistently doing quests. You're going to rack up a lot of levels. But yeah, when it comes to blue or green gear, I honestly wouldn't even bother really selling it on the auction house. What you should be doing with that stuff is you should be selling it at a vendor and then go buy a mount, for 5 gold, or go buy a companion for 2 gold, or, even go buy some profession items if you want, sell those at the auction house. As we could take a quick look here at the mounts, I was selling mounts before about a week ago, for 5 gold. Basically, I was turning 5 gold into just over 5,000 astral diamonds. I imagine they're a little bit cheaper these days. Wow. Okay, as we can see here, we've got some ridiculous prices going on for some horses. Rage Drake for 2.5 million. Yeah, I don't think so. I would not spend that kind of cash on a Rage Drake. Sure, the thing looks pimped out and whatnot, but no. If we scroll over to the far side, you'll notice when it says starting bid, that means that basically nobody has bid on it whatsoever. So that's kind of something you want to keep in mind when you are actually sizing up the prices of different stuff. Like you basically can say, okay, well, you know what, if this has been on, like this horse right here, okay, has been on for probably at least, 22 hours, starting bid at 11,000. As you could see, nobody has bid on it whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's a completely ludicrous price. No one is going to pay for that. Okay, if we look at 3,500 for a water deep horse, that's not bad. If I was level 18 and I was getting up close to where I could buy a mount and I didn't have the gold, I'm pretty sure by level 18 you should have at least 3,500 Astral Diamonds. That's a fair price, okay? Because if you really break it down in this game, 1 gold is essentially at least worth about 500 Astral Diamonds in this game. We'll take a quick browse here, see for some other mounts. Okay, see, these low ones, definitely, people have been bidding on these, and we'll scroll a little bit farther to see what kind of higher prices people have been getting. Okay, so, wow, so 3167, 3,500, I see that. Wow, so prices have kind of dropped, but like I said, supply and demand, there are always going to fluctuate with these prices. And I imagine a week or two ago, mounts were a little bit more rare than they were before. You're getting a lot more people that are level 20 and that do have access to mounts, so I could really see why the prices would drop. But yeah, if you have the 5 gold and you don't really have anything to spend your gold on, gold can be converted into Astral Diamonds through the auction house. We'll take a quick look here at some companions. Companions usually always sell. Of course, when you first jump in here, it's going to be the complete and total ludicrous prices. But let's see if we could pan down here a little bit. You always notice the items without a buyout will always show up first, okay? And then the items with buyouts will always show up a little bit after, and you'll always notice the lowest buyouts are going to show up first. It doesn't really work that way with the bidding prices, because we can go back to the beginning here. It goes from 550 to 6,000, 777 back down to 4499. You know what I mean? So the first ones that are listed are always going to be kind of random. And another thing that really kind of sucks is they only do show 400 items at a time, so you are going to have to be scrolling through a lot. But let's take a quick look here and see what prices we can get for some companions. I see a nice decent bid at 1655, so basically this guy is going to be making 1655 diamonds from a 2 gold companion, and that's not bad. Like I said, the main things that I notice I really use for gold when I'm at a level 60 guy, I'm buying a lot of potions, buying a lot of injury kits, and I use a lot of gold when it comes to swapping enchantments and rune stones and whatnot. But other than that, I don't really use golds for crap. Okay, so if you do have a high abundance of gold, do yourself a solid. Go buy some companions, buy some mounts, some profession items, slang them on the auction house, and you could turn that useless gold into some very convenient astro diamonds in henceforth, which you can turn into Zen, and then you could buy yourself some really cool shit in this game. But yeah, another thing like I was trying to say though too is, try to put the fair buyout price. You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised that honestly some of these haven't really sold. But as you can see, the one guy here, high grade 87, he's trying to sell a crap load of Apprentice Healers. And to be honest, I personally would think Apprentice Healers would be selling a lot more often than any other companion, because when you're in a level 60 dungeon, you're really going to want to have a healer, a con artist or a man at arms or anything like that. They are just going to go out there and fight these level 60 enemies, and they're going to get slaughtered. So Apprentice Healers should always be a safe bet. As you can see, this guy, he is spam selling the crap out of them. It looks like he's probably got about 20 of those listed. We'll try to take a look at some other bids here, see what people are selling. See, this guy's selling a wizard for 1,700. That's not bad. I think the most I've ever gotten for a companion was about 2,400 gold, but like I said, that was about a week and a half ago. Because I am higher levels, I don't really need to be selling companions for astral diamonds right now. But just because you are high level does not mean that you shouldn't be trying to earn astral diamonds any way, shape, or form, because the more the better, right? But yeah, when it comes to certain items that you are selling to, like I've got some profession items here that are just completely gray, don't really look like they're too fantastic whatsoever, but honestly, some of them would be worth quite a bit more than you would think. If we look at this ornamental mithril here, yeah, 13 for a starting bid, that's honestly not really too great whatsoever. This is something that I like to do when it comes to these low-end profession items that I'm trying to make a couple of astral diamonds off of, because honestly, these certain profession items to me just are completely useless. I'm never going to do anything with them. So what I like doing, I'll slap a starting bid on of number 1, and I will just put absolutely 0 as a bidding price, because, and I'll keep it to 1 day. If you are going to do this, try to keep it to 1 day, because like I said, nobody really wants to be waiting 3 to 5 days to get this stuff. If they can't buy it out instantly, I'm pretty sure about 7 out of 10 people will wait the 1 day. But I start mine at 1, okay? I put it 0 as a buyout price, and then boom, I'll list it. And honestly, it sounds kind of dumb, because you're like, man, I don't want to get 1 for that item, you know what I mean? I don't want to get 1 Astro Diamond. But if it's something that people need, you could potentially start a bidding war. Some person will bid 1, and then another person will bid 2 or 3, another person will bid 4 or 5, and it could potentially get up there. As we seen, the starting bid for this one was 13. I honestly would not be surprised if I got maybe about 15 for this. You know what I mean? Only because I started at 1 and I kind of created a bidding war for it. But yeah, so like with my Residium, the starting bid here is 823. That's completely ludicrous. I see a lot of other people selling them for completely ridiculous prices. Same thing, I would just come over here, I'd slap it on here for 1 day, and yeah, I'll list it, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I get probably about 50 or 60 Astro Diamonds for that. But like I said, personally, to me, it's worthless, so I'm not really going to use it too much. Even stuff like leather and whatnot, leather usually sells pretty decently, because there are quite a few people who are going to be doing stuff in regards to tailoring and other professions. And leadership, I understand, is one of those professions that you don't really need any profession items whatsoever to be ranking up higher and to be getting astral diamonds out of it. So a lot of these other profession items will be selling at the auction house. If you ever do have a chance to, try to keep your items grouped up. You know, as you can see here, I have 6. Do not sell them individually. That is something that people are really pissed off by. Nobody wants to buy one at a time. People like to buy in bulk. It's just a lot easier. It's a lot more convenient for everybody. But yeah, you know what I mean? So the main things I could really say though is try to look up your stuff before you're selling it. Don't be surprised if you see some ridiculous prices. If you do see some fair buyout prices, or you see some bids that are being bid on, you know, that doesn't say starting bid, and you know people are putting money on it, if you can, try to undercut them a little bit. You know what I mean? Sell it for maybe 2 to maybe 20 astral diamonds cheaper, and it will really speed up the sale. I guarantee it. You know, people would love to be saving as much as they can, and even saving 2 or 3 astral diamonds is really going to, you know, help out, and it will make your sales go a lot faster. The only other thing I could really mention too, though, is, you know, like I said, if it comes down to this chance where you see the suggested bids, don't really go with them. Your best bet is to research it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, jump on the browse section, try to look through as much stuff as you can when it comes to any type of profession items or refinements. You know, certain stuff like rune stones, they're, you know, anything like rank 4 or lower, it's not really gonna sell, you know. But if you got some rank 5s and some rank 6s and 7s, you know, they will sell, guaranteed, because they're not as common as you would think. But rank 4 and lower is extremely common at high levels. Don't, you know, there are just some stuff that you probably shouldn't really waste your time even trying to sell. The only other thing I could think of to mention in this is basically when you do have a sale that's finalized, you're going to see here it's going to show up in your mail, okay? Whether it be an item you purchased or an item that you sold, it will show up in your mailbox. And the way to claim this is basically you run over to a mailbox and you press X to take your item, whether it be Astral Diamonds or an item that you purchased. Earlier, I actually sold an Azure Enchantment rank 4 for 2 Astral Diamonds just so I could show how this basically works. See, I'm going to take a quick mad dash over here and get stuck, apparently. So you just jump over here and press X to take your item, and always make sure you take the item before you delete the mail. I was a noob when I first got into the auction house. I had sold a bunch of stuff for Astral Diamonds, and I actually deleted it before I took it. I am man enough to admit my stupidity on my behalf in that regard. It was completely foolish. I think I wasted probably about 8 or 9,000 Astral Diamonds, and when you're at about level 18 or 19, you know, that could really hurt. So always make sure you press X to accept the item before you actually delete it, and then, you know, just jump over, press the Y button, A to delete, and there you go. You got a clean mailbox and you're good to go. If it does come to a situation where you do have some epic gear and people are really having a hard time finding your epic gear, you know, try to go to trade on your chat thing here. You know, use your left and right bumper to basically scroll over to trade. Type in the word selling or willing to sell, which is basically the acronym is WTS. Okay, and then type that in. Go to your menu and link item. Okay, link item. Basically, you could scroll over and say, hypothetically, I'm trying to sell 11 tyrannical boxes. You will see that it will show up in the color of which regards of what type of item it is, whether it's rare, you know, whether it's legendary or whatnot, and just put in a price. You know what I mean? Like, say, I'm selling tyrannical ones for 15 astral diamonds, you know. And some people really try to keep an eye out for different items, you know. And you could also use this in regards to buying, you know. Put buying or WTB, willing to buy. Type in the item that you are trying to buy, whether it be a dragon bone swirl or a dragon bone orb or a talisman, or, you know, maybe you want some dragon bone gauntlets or a special fancy artifact or something like that. type it in. You know, that chat box is really there for our advantage and for our convenience. Use it whenever you possibly can. But other than that, there's not really much for me to tell you guys. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or comments or tips, you know, please leave something in the comment section below, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I possibly can. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have been blabbing for quite a bit here, kind of repeating myself over and over, but honestly, I hope it does help, guys, and good luck with your auctioneering, man. I'm really hoping you guys can rack up some Astral Diamonds and potentially get some good deals on some Zen, you know, and start buying yourself some kick-ass stuff. Alright guys, please like the video if you can to show some support for some new Neverwinter content, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks guys. See you on the adventures.